Drug addict before she met her husband, former White House aide Morgan Mason, son of the late actor James Mason. Now she's back on top with her new single, Vision of You. Kathy McGowan met up with her during her British tour.
And we're all sitting around, and it was in the LA punk scene at the time, 1978. And everybody we knew was in a band. They were terrible, so we thought, well, we can form a band and be terrible too, and maybe we'll get booked at some places. And it was I had a choice of playing the drums or singing. I didn't want to play the drums, so I chose to sing, even though I had never sung before. And that's how it happened.
You were a very successful girl group, and you decided to split up, and you went on your own.
Well, the things that break up our band break up other bands. Ego, money, drugs, and I didn't break up the band with the intention right then of having a solo career. I always knew that I had the opportunity, but it was the farthest thing from my mind when the band broke up, because it was a very emotional thing for me. So I started really getting material together for my own thing about 6 months later.
I think you're a really good example to youngsters, Belinda, because I mean you've been through so much.
A lot of kids look at me as a role model because I've overcome a lot of obstacles, even from the very beginning. It was a Cinderella story, and you know, with the battle with the weight, which is a very human thing to have, you know, to battle. You know, drugs, which is a very human thing. Ups and downs.
How badly then were the drugs affecting you? I mean, was it really terrible?
My work, I wasn't showing up for work. And I was becoming very introverted and staying home a lot and lying, you know, same thing a lot of drug addicts do.
Well, how did you decide to stop then?
I met my husband, and I knew that I couldn't carry on with a relationship with him if I continued the way I was going. He had no idea that I was a drug addict when he got involved with me. And he didn't give me any ultimatum. I just decided that if I was to, you know, I wanted to marry him.
Where did you meet him? We
met one night at a party, and he sort of snubbed me, and I didn't let that go. So he was just, actually, he was just really shy, and we went out the next night. I ran into him accidentally. We went out the next night, and I moved in the next day, and we've been together ever since. It's been 6 years.
When did you tell him that you had this problem? What did he guess?
No, I think he figured it out when he found all the coke underneath the sofa. I think that's when he figured out. I think I've gotten involved with the drug addict. But you know, I could hide it pretty well, you know. And then I'll never forget that morning when he found it. He dumped it over the balcony. I was like, oh no, my drugs. But I realized then that I had a choice, that I had to either get my act together or, you know, I wouldn't be where I am now.
So what did you do then, Belinda? What route did you go then to stop it?
I had a friend that just got clean, and I called her, and she took me to a meeting. I'm not a program person because I still drink occasionally. It was never a problem with me. You know, drugs were a problem with me. So for a while I was going to support groups, and now I'm in sort of an offspring of a support group that deals with a different addiction, which is food. And so now I'm working my steps, which work the steps through the drugs too. But it's, you know, if it's not one thing, it's the other.
So how do you cope then? I mean, if it's not there now, it's the food.
Well, if it's not food, it's working out. And if it's not working out, shopping. And if it's not shopping, it's something else.
Can I talk to you a bit about your music? You like to write your own songs.
Well, I have credit on my record and the Grace's record, and I've started getting more into songwriting, and I'm in the process of 6 songs so far for my next record. So, yeah, I think it's really important. I got out of songwriting for a while, and for me to feel good about myself as an artist, I have to be more involved in the songwriting. So I am really applying myself this time, and I'm going to prove it. I can be a songwriter too. Tell me, what can I do with this vision of you?
been very honest about all that.
Half of the treatment, though, you know, and the cure, to be honest like that and to talk about it. But it's brilliant what she's been through to come out of it like that and to have a wonderful career. That's because she met Morgan, though, you know. I mean,
Well,
she wanted that relationship to work so much that that's what did it.
She's here on tour for, what, another couple of weeks?
Another couple of weeks, Guy, yes. You ought to go and see her if you can.
I gather you've been to the ballet lot.